easy for Baskin. He looked great that game, but I want to ask you a little bit more. I mean, we could talk about how great Baskin looked great all that game, but everyone thought coming into this, Achilles is going to be OP, always going to win. Can you talk to me a little bit about what happened there in that game with that one as we move into picks and bans?
Look, Achilles is good. He's pretty good. He does good damage. He's got some CC. His execute is super body blockable and very easily jukable, but it can hit multiple people if you do it time after time. So look, it's got potential. I just don't think Achilles is top pick, top ban worthy. I think that he's better as a jungler than a solo laner.
Yes.
And even then, I'm not sure that I'd pick him over Nemesis or Dodgy or Circuit even. I just feel like Achilles is solidly good.
Achilles is fine.
And usually at a pro level, solidly good doesn't cut it. You don't get to play those, this god is just okay sort of gods at a pro level. You're trying to pick the best of the best. And is Achilles on there? I feel like he's on the line. He toes the line right there. I just think he's a little bit off the train and needs to, get his ticket re-stamped before he's on there. You try and get on the train and then they stamp your ticket. And then they're like, wait a minute, this didn't stamp right, or they scan it, I guess. I'm kind of going back in a little bit of time.
This is a Pittsburgh thing, right? Is that what's happening? Or
no, actually, we have very few trains. No, they just got a subway.
I tried to bail you out,
ago.
And he won't even accept it. Very similar bans.
I didn't need helping, Finch.
Game 1 as Giannis banned away from the best yet again. Does mean, though, that Spacestation are going to be able to select that Dodgy for themselves first overall. Very likely going to give that one to andinster, even with how good the Thoth pick was, and Splyce are not worried about it.
Well, they got Ravana last pick last time around with the exact same picks and bans that we've seen so far, but this time Splyce feel like they want to take it a little bit earlier on, which surprises me.
This wasn't Athena Thoth here.
Yeah, I mean, this has got to be Athena Thoth, right? I mean, that's the easy 2 picks here for Spacestation. And look, Spacestation already has their jungler in Dodgy. Why is Splyce taking Ravana right there? And actually, it isn't going to be the Thoth. Baskin feels like dominating something else potentially. This could be going over to BaRRaCCuDDa as well on that Soul. But this is the SSG saying, we don't really care what you put Baskin on. He's going to beat you anyways. So ban away whatever you want.
But you're right. They prioritized the Ravana here, and you're right. Probably not necessary. Could have even been done there in that third selection if they wanted to do so and took something a little bit higher priority for themselves. But they choose to go with this new WoW pick again. This is what we saw best on, so want to see him on this one again. And very safe is this new WoW pick in the mid lane, which can help get away from that Dodgy.
It's true, and it just brings that late game pressure just in case you're able to get there. You're guaranteed to hit a bunch of damage, and Splyce feels like they can't ban out Baskin either. May as well let him take whatever he wants. Instead, they ban out the solo laner, Aquarius, and I like this call because Divios has been the guy so far for Splyce, so why not just make sure that he can get as good of a lane matchup as possible there?
That's the call. They take away the Odin and the RDO. In response, Spacestation banned away the Thoth themselves, so certainly don't want that one. Worried perhaps about a new ADC, and then they could slide Thoth right into that draft. Then they ban away the Terra as well, which means Splyce end up taking Sobek.
Hercules, the pick, though, and this is what was banned away from Aquarius in Game 1, and it's been banned away from him pretty consistently. He's just a really, really strong Hercules player. Doesn't feel like Hercules is like a top solo laner for everybody right now, but for those that play him a lot, like Aquarius, like Fine OK, then people are going to pick, those guys are still going to pick him up and still probably do well with them.
And they look great when they're on them. Looks like there's nothing you can do to shut him down or kill him, so that's been the selection. Jing is going to go right along with it, so that's going to be the Hunter. BaRRaCCuDDa does tend to favor this Jing pick, so likely we'll see him take it and Baskin take Soul, and then Vamana going to be the selection to come out for Splyce.
Yeah, I think that's
and it is Vamana, by the way. It is.
Wow, really? We're dying on that hill today?
It's not a hill. I don't need to die. It's the truth.
I'm going to go ahead and stick with the Vamana.
You can say it wrong if you want. You're very entitled to that.
I sure am, and I'll stick with it. But I think this is going to be Vamana ADC. CycloneSpin, this feels like something that he would be willing to pull out. I mean, he didn't play a Hunter last game. Why should he have to play one this game? And it's just one of those lanes that I feel like, I mean, if it's like Sobek Vamana, is that not the most Aror CycloneSpin lane you've ever heard in your life?
It definitely sounds like the worst lane I could be on the other side of. That sounds awful. But we were ready to go here to the game, so I got to ask you, Ryan. I didn't ask you last time. I'll let you off the hook. Who's got this one, Spacestation or Splyce?
Well, Splyce has Achilles, so they lose, so it's Spacestation.
5-0 then for Achilles, or 0-5 for Achilles is your prediction.
5-0 against Achilles. So
sure,
yeah,
sure. That's what I meant. Thanks for saving me there, Ryan. Let's go ahead and get it over to the casters. Tom and Taco, take it away.
Thanks a lot, Finch and Ryan, interrupting Bailey as we get into game number 2 here. A lot of eyes looking at that Achilles, but I'm looking at the Vomit. You're right about one thing. It's Vomit. You're wrong about the Fallout Boy thing. But the Vomit ADC, that's where I expect to be, and I'm excited.
I wish people got to see more of our Finch caster argument interactions, but they don't get to witness nearly as much of the beauty as what there is actually available. And who do you think will win this game? Well, we saw last game, Team Baskin looked pretty awesome.
Yeah, Baskin was good.
and the rest of Spacestation trying to just follow suit. But I am not too sure how I feel seeing the Achilles run back.
Yeah, Divios didn't really do much in game number 1. We'll see if things are different here in game number 2. I do like Cyno back on the Robin. Like we said, he kind of faltered in that mid game, but I think he can bring it back.
I'm also not a huge fan of Team Warrior. I'm just gonna say it. I am very concerned for Splyce here if they're not able to get any sort of early game going.
Well, they're going to chase that Aquarius. There's the pluck, and the rest of the stuff is going to follow up. And Aquarius goes down to the hand of CycloneSpin. Don't all tab. You'll miss a second of action here. Splyce get first blood.
Just take a second to look at and appreciate Cyclone's build. And I hope BaRRa is really in for the lane of his life here.
Oh, man. It's like rude. I think this is not the admin. I think this is just rude. The CycloneSpin is coming in the lane going, hey, BaRRa, you ever wanted to play solo lane? Guess what? I'm back on my nonsense. That's what he's saying. 89%. It's a good number. Says that Space Station's going to win. 11%. I think that Splyce will take it.
I really want Cyclone to build a Nemean first item. No boots. Nothing else. Just like full anti-hunter items.
And stand there.
And stand there in front of BaRRa. I don't even care if Splyce end up losing because of it, but if he can just stand in front of BaRRaCCuDDa for me, so I can watch John Salter live up to his name.
Be John Salty?
Exactly, and I think it's time.
I think it's time. It's really funny watching CycloneSpin just play the solo lane in the long lane. I mean, we talked in game number 1 when he brought up Kamazats, how he said in the solo lane he was known for playing jank, right? And I think that's exciting because I think the hunter lane, the long lane, is kind of open for, picks like this. And CycloneSpin, when I say that, I didn't intend the solo lane builds as well. But, okay, sure. Just be a tank, Cyclone. That's all you, bud.
Something fun about Splyce, too, though, is just the simple fact that CycloneSpin can pick up the Vamana.
Yeah.
And no one on his team is probably mad at him for it.
No.
They just trust him to do his best, and if not, they're all going to cheer each other on anyway. Because
he got the kick out of the tower. Oh, Divios. Oh, Divios. Oh, Divios.
He'll be okay. He lost like all of his health in the process, but he'll be okay.
I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this one wrong. Was Divios the one that Hercules pulled Omega under the tower? Once upon a time?
Ooh. Could be. I don't want to 100% confirm or deny that.
It just looks so familiar right there, Divios.
I'm surprised you still remember who Omega is. It's been a long time.
Omega was relevant one time. He was, and I see that his play style lives on through players like Maniac and not so much Divios. The guys that just want to stand in front of their team, 30 yards in front, right? That's the big zoners. That's what Omega made a name for on himself. And Omega played with TheBest for a very, very, very long time. So TheBest, no stranger to that sort of gameplay.
Best has been around forever as well in the scene. And although he's taken a couple more breaks than some of the other pros that we've seen around for a while, too, he's definitely still got it. And
Aquarius thought he had that one. You could tell from the little standstill. It was like, really? But TheBest, he does take his time off, but TheBest comes back and he never, ever seems to have any rust. He always comes in clean, really nice stuff. Space Station Gaming going to invade on the left side jungle and get both the purple and the red buff. Look at that.
Probably the only issue that you really ever hear players bring up in reference to TheBest is, actually hold that thought down, because Divios and Cyno trying to get a little bit of a repeat from last game going on. They had a lot of control over this blue buff pretty early on, and that's going to be a new ultimate as well, just to start things off for Aquarius and Cyno, but Cyno just eating way too much poke there, I think.
Yeah, Aquarius by himself here on the Hercules. This is one of my favorite characters. I think he's underloved. Although in the world right now, a ton of anti-heal. I understand it.
Check out Andy, though. Andy He knows that Splyce tried to invade his blue buff, and he's not going to take any chances. Thought for a moment that he was going to consider going in and committing.
I saw that.
But it seems as though, I mean, I'm sure the thought probably crossed his mind, and then he just thought better of it.
Yeah, I think he got punished too hard pre-level 5 in game number 1. And I think Andinster's a little bit... I think he was like, I'm going to go for it. I don't have Paolo. I'm not going to go for it. Very, very just quickly decided against that one.
Also notice that Andy doesn't have the Blink Relic first. He actually went full on for the Aegis, so definitely keeping in mind how things started off in the previous match, and since Baskin is no longer playing Thoth, wanting to play things a little bit more safe.
Oh, yeah. This time around, Andy does not want to go to... Because, again, like, Andy, you know, we saw him pull it out in the late game, but certainly wants to keep things going early on as well. Things have solidified... things have evened out, since that first blood. About 100 gold separating our teams, so we call that one a tie game. And CycloneSpin on this Vamana here, looking very interested to see where he winds up. Right now, about half level down to BaRRaCCuDDa on the Jing way, building into the boots first. You're not going to get your Nemean, I'm sorry.
This might be the first time I'll ever say that a kill should not have gone onto the carry at the start of the match. I don't think that CycloneSpin is doing that first blood any justice. Sure. He finished boots sooner than BaRRaCCuDDa, but what's he going to do against a Jing Wei?
Very true.
Stay by as she ults away and uses that agility for the millionth time, as Barra's going to be on his farming game.
Ultimates come out in the solo lane. Divios avoids the damage, so no big deal there. But yeah, no, I'm with you. It's CycloneSpin certainly has not been able to, you know, build or amass a lead here. And they're aggressing onto Cyno, and here comes the rest of Spacestation Gaming. But Divios lurking in the wings means that SSG doesn't want to fully commit.
Seems like he wants Aquarius now, though.
Oh,
Cyno!
He missed!
Ooh!
Oh,
not expecting the driving strike.
Yeah, that one, oh man. I know I called it a miss, but that was just a hot dodge coming out from Aquarius. I mean, that was heads-up play from the solo laner. I don't know where he's from, so I won't mention it. But if he was from Long Island, I would.
You're just going to be like, instead of Toll League with a death note, you're just going to have a list of like Long Island players, and based on how close they are to New York is how much of them you'll remember.
There's plenty of them. You've got Baskin and Jeff on the same team, Met Yankee and Zapman on the same team. If you made a team of 5 Long Island players, they would beat any other team of 5 players from the same region. If they even exist. What can I say? There's something in the water.
Didn't that happen already in AVGL?
Probably. Oh, Stony Brook, yeah. Stony Brook University did go out and win. What can I say? Even in the lower leagues.
Wow, I'm a little disappointed in myself for reminding you of that.
Yeah, thank you. I gotta add that to the storybook. That's actually a really big deal. I forgot about that one. Shout out to J Mac Tucker. He's still down there casting the AVGL stuff. Really, we had the lands a couple of times here. Fun to see the college guys come out and play. It's a really interesting league, really interesting scene down there. We've seen players that you know from the minor league do things there. We've seen Sheikah. We've seen Data Reember. Ratcheteer, yeah. A lot of talent across a couple of leagues, so fun to see all the lower level players, because this is where they strive to be. And a couple of them have made it here. I mean, you look at players like Baskin, not the guy that started out in the league. You know, Baskin, a little bit of a late bloomer, certainly making the impact here. And Spacestation just chasing Splyce out of their own front yard.
You know, I almost have a feeling that Baskin getting roasted for like 2.5 years straight in Smite ranked is what led to him becoming the most powerful smiter of all time.
That's very true. The Smite League started, and Baskin Robbins was just in there playing troll picks in the solo lane, and everybody was like, why is this guy trolling?
He was the embodiment of the sniping 2032 queue. Because you could not queue a single match back then without seeing Snoopy, Mask, Meerkat, and we're going to spot out a Cyno, as Aquarius is going to wrap him up with the Earthbreaker, quick little driving strike. It's also going to help out,
nice
but
jump. Okay.
Forced ult, though.
By himself, invaded into the enemy jungle. Very scary stuff, but those are the type of confidence plays that Cyno needs to make to kind of keep himself in this game. But yeah, I mean, I put Baskin Robbins up there with the Alex Sanchez's of the world, just ruining ranked queues night by night.
They seem like terrible people. I don't even know anybody who'd want to talk to them.
But then somehow, the glow up, Baskin, one of the best players in the entire Smite League. And who knows what happened to Alex Sanchez, huh?
It's a mystery to this day. I was just the 2032 edition. That's Sanchez 2.0.
Oh, okay.
The original is still yet to be determined.
You know who I really miss? Dark Black, Dr. Block.
He's in Paladins.
Yes, he is.
Actually.
He plays a lot of Paladins. But I always liked that dude. I thought he was a step ahead of the meta. He was the first guy to give up boots and buy movement speed items. First guy to give up boots. First guy to play Warriors mid. We've seen the Odin mid. Shouts to Big Man Tings. I'm telling you, Dr. Block, Dark Black, that guy was years ahead of the meta. Just a step ahead.
Just put him on a team already, guys. Why don't you? How could you possibly be doing this disservice to your team right now?
Repeated invades is the story of this game, too. And Splyce here trying to defend their red buff one more time. Baskin, or CycloneSpin, excuse me, up in the ultimate, but Soul doesn't care. Baskin just bringing him the Supernova, and here comes the Powwow, and he has a hair of HP, pulls one, uses the Aegis to get away from the best damage, and Cyno won't be able to catch up, so the Fox will get away. Baskin relatively low, and here comes Aror, and Divios from the right-hand side, looking for more damage. BaRRaCCuDDa takes that Aror, but not until andinster falls down. Cyno gets one as well. 2 for 1 so far. Splyce in the good position. And the collapse on BaRRaCCuDDa. 2 players here, but 3 players from Space Station. BaRRaCCuDDa takes to the sky. TheBest can't keep up. Divios with the execute. Aquarius executes TheBest with the boulder. And this team fight has been spread out. And it finally looks like we're going to see an end to it. Again, damage on Divios, but Aquarius has to walk away.
Divios, though, able to avoid that driving strike thanks to another execution tick. It does get that refresh once you're able to successfully connect.
But you take more damage.
You do take more damage. But when it's only a Hercules left to try and defend against it or attacking you, you usually have more than enough time to get away, which is the case here since Aquarius didn't have another Earthbreaker to follow up and see what else could happen. And that's just unlucky, I would say, for Space Station more than anything else. They got a little bit ahead of themselves by pursuing CycloneSpin as much as they did. And hard not to chase around a baby when you see that Supernova come through and just rip through his health bar. But CycloneSpin, he had the regen factor kicking in and making it to the safety of his own towers, forcing Space Station into really awkward positioning.
Yep. I like the fact that CycloneSpin, since he is supposed to be, the hunter position, he's building the Transcendence, so he is going to bring some of that damage. Now, I always talk about sort of balancing the team equation, right? And I think that's sort of what we're seeing here out of Splyce. Divios going on the Achilles, we already mentioned that he's definitely not your traditional warrior. He brings a little bit more damage and less control. So Splyce here, they're going to bring a little bit more of the tankiness by way of the Vamana, but he'll still be aggressive, the Transcendence. So again, very important. If you're going to go the Achilles and understand what you're giving up, a little bit of frontline, you'll gain a little bit of frontline by way of CycloneSpin on the Vomit. That's why, again, weird picks are fun, but there's a reason for every off-meta pick.
And for Splyce, that heavy control factor as well might start coming a little bit more into play once they're out of these laning phases. And although you'd imagine that 3 warriors would typically be having the time of their lives during this moment, there's just so much survivability aspects to consider out of Space Station. Between JeffHindla and BaRRaCCuDDa already being on an incredibly safe god, it's just very difficult for Splyce to really work their way into anything. And here's the new ultimate. They know that this is happening, but can they get there in time?
Oh, I don't think the answer is yes. Space Station gets it right. Cyno shows up a little bit too late. There's not enough crowd control available for Splyce, even if they got there in time. And I think that's going to be the hero's downfall for these guys here. I mentioned that CycloneSpin is picking up some of the front line that Divios is losing, but he's not picking up the crowd control. Vamana has the knockup, but there's no hard CC.
Then again, there is Aror on the Sobek, probably one of the more peel-oriented supports. And it doesn't have to necessarily be peel. You're kind of expecting these warriors to just survive on their own. Auror's sole purpose in life is protect best, and when he's not protecting best, pluck somebody into death.
So, so I'm willing to understand this one. CycloneSpin gets aggressed on. Not chasing that one. Interesting. The idea is that, I guess, Splyce doesn't need the pure control because they'll just be able to live longer with their warrior selections?
up to a certain extent. Once that 25, 30-minute range starts becoming a factor, speaking of which, Aror already feeling some of the damage that Space Station has to provide. Just going to barely make it out of this one.
I mean, he has 12 HP left. BaRRaCCuDDa gets kicked. Number 5, but number 3 is Baskin able to answer back, taking care of Cyno. That was a bunch of damage into Cyno. You can see that build coming along the way. Crusher doing the work.
He had to make sure he killed BaRRa out of everybody there. Take down the Hunter every single time. And to be completely fair, there's really no one else to try and kill in that moment.
No, and his Hunter, CycloneSpin, is behind a little bit, so trying to even that one up. Level 15 to 12, I think the middle lane might be a little bit harder to do as Baskin continues his reign of terror here in game number 2.
The other concern that I do have, though, for Splyce is the relic choices out of their warriors are very aggressive.
Oh, yeah. Blink, blink, blink.
A lot of them are building damage, except for Divios. He's rocking that physical protection all the way through, but the fact that CycloneSpin and Cyno are both trying to be more of those dive-based gods, I think could end up biting them in the butt later on, because if you don't find kills on warriors and you let hunters and a soul hit their late-game stride, you're going to be in a world of hurt.
Pyromancer are going to be peeled. Splyce not going to wrestle control of it, but Divios does a good job of taking Space Station off of the objective. Pulled one more time by Baskin, and half HP it is. Divios and Aurora in the neighborhood, but don't look like they want to commit too much to this. And so there's the walk away. Splyce wanted to make sure Splyce wanted to make sure Space Station was going to commit players to it. You're not allowed to do that with 2 people. If you bring the team, I guess we'll walk away.
But it still poses the same problem, though. Splyce already are probably aware of the fact that their draft is not going to fare too well if they're not able to get something going early. And
right.
Starting to hit that mid-game section, and still not a whole lot happening here for Splyce that's in their favor.
Now, the red buff has been dominated by Space Station Gaming, and I think that's exactly what they had planned on. Baskin just continuing to bring the damage. Athena shows up, but Baskin will walk away. Not too big of a deal for the guys on Space Station. About a 2,000 gold lead for them. Splyce trying to fight back into this one, and Cyno gets bursted. So does Cyclone, so does Best. In fact, everybody takes a chunk of damage from Baskin. Ultimate on point. Divios here uses the ultimate to get away, but Baskin still on the chase. Will give up. Aquarius won't, but still the miss.
Every ult is defensive, and now Andis is ready to go on the offensive. Divios doesn't have that execute any longer, so Andy's free to pursue as Jeff's going to get a nice little taunt there on a Cyno overhead kick, though, making sure he evades a stellar burst, but huge damage on the Baskin.
And the tier 2, tier 1 tower is gone. JeffHindla takes care of Cyno after the ultimate comes out from the solo lane. Aquarius will still be battling 1 versus 4. BaRRaCCuDDa shows up. Will he peel for the Hercules? Answer's yes. And Aquarius is fine.
Divios, though, still trying to keep up with Aquarius, but a beautiful stellar burst out of Baskin going to slow both Divios and Aurora in their tracks. Can't chase Aquarius out any longer, and
oh no,
that's just that.
Easy stuff. Splyce looking up here at Space Station Gaming. This was a much closer game number 1 here. SSG just kind of taking this and running with it. 32 to 3,300, wave to wave. And Space Station Gaming looking clean.
I like that Splyce is trying new things, though.
Oh, absolutely.
To me, this feels like one of those sets where, hey guys, this has probably worked out in a scrim before, and it might be our best bet to just pull out something that a team's not familiar with.
Splyce remind me of a better mouse. You know what I mean? Mouse was bringing out Dardes is always going to bring out odd supports, but Mouse was bringing out some of the stranger stuff with Cherio around and stuff, and watching those guys kind of do this. Splyce is very reminiscent of that.
I could see the similarities, passing over and different focus points
exactly
as well. I think is what really separates the two.
Mm-hmm. Just the idea that they're willing to stretch the meta and, more importantly, understand what their team brings. Divios getting brought by Space Station, half HP already on Baskin, however, as CycloneSpin goes up to the ultimate, uses the Thorn, still has Aquarius on him. The Hercules doesn't care. Andinster now looking for the chains, trying to find Cyno, but he just can't catch up. He'll land down, blink away, no problem. Cyno misses the kick. Here comes the ultimate for the mid lane mage, and the up down is good. Andinster takes care of Cyno. Aror in trouble as well. Pops out of the waters and pops into the ground. Divios, however, takes care of the jungler. It's a 2-for-1 Space Station clean.
BaRRaCCuDDa still trying to play up a little bit here, but Aquarius barely missing catching CycloneSpin with that Earthbreaker, and now Gold Fury hasn't been taken away just yet. Baskin gonna start to pull it as JeffHindla will be more than happy to tank it, and between these two hunters, these objectives just do not stand a chance, and Cyclone can't even get anywhere near, and that's just one of the downfalls of running a composition based around these warriors. And you can have dive, you can have commitment, but Splyce just keeps splitting apart from each other in a lot of these fights, and for a moment it seems as though they want to target out Baskin. They see that Jeff ults to him. Okay, cool, no problem. We'll leave that one alone. And all the while, Andy is just controlling Cyno and TheBest in the backside. I love that he blinked over the wall first before using that teleport mimic instead, because sure, he would have gotten some nice damage off potentially, but Cyno still had the overhead kick. The blink forces the overhead kick. Then Cyno has to rely on hiding inside of that fog from new wall, and it's all pretty easy peasy stuff for andinster from there.
You know, if this is a longer set, I think I'd start banning the Athena. And it's interesting because a lot of times Athena's one of these innocuous supports that I understand that taunt can be one of the most devastating abilities, but you just deal with it, right? We've been dealing with Athena taunt for so long that you kind of know how to deal with it, but the ultimate to protect the target has been far too much. I mean, well, that's a ton of damage mitigation that you get from the Athena ultimate channeling on you, and we've seen Jeff repeatedly defend Baskin in that manner.
It's either Baskin or BaRRa every single time. That's all Jeff has his eyes on because he knows his duty. It's just solely to protect his carries, and he's going to try for it every single time. His CycloneSpin being forced into the ultimate, going to pop the thorns as well, but the 1,000 cuts, the bleed, everything combined, but
bang!
Just saves him.
Beautiful burst. That's why TheBest plays this character. Wants to be able to do that. Here comes Cyno, looking for the comeback. This is a great play for Splyce so far. Down 5K, and this is how they get back into it. Crits coming out from the Jing way. BaRRaCCuDDa not going to get the kill. Baskin will. BaRRaCCuDDa not going to get the kill. Baskin will. 2 kills for the mid laner.
Hey, BaRRa, you mind if I take these 2 kills from you?
For real. TheBest. Crits good. Back end, BaRRa in trouble. Divios. TheBest gets credit again. Baskin deals the damage. Divios again in trouble. And this time, it's Baskin. Double kill for the mid laner. Where's he from? Say it, Taco.
Long Island.
Long Island. Tier 2 tower.
I should have
go
said
down.
mid lane. Should have just said mid lane and left it at that, but I'll let you have it this time around. Baskin gets the T2 tower. Shout out to Long Island.
Hell yeah. 513, the slash line for Woon Young. Incredible. My job is to verbalize what these guys do. And Baskin, time and time again, is leaving me speechless. He just controls these games by himself. I mean, what more do you want? He's killed everybody.
Jeff is just weeping in a corner silently right now because you said that. Because a lot of those taunts were part of the reason why Baskin was able to get some of those kills that we saw. Same thing for Aquarius too, but that was probably the most perfect scenario that Baskin could ever imagine. He gets 4 kills, unofficial quadra. On top of all of that, he gets those 4 kills right in front of BaRRaCCuDDa, who was trying to get the last hits as well, and BaRRa dies in the process. Like, this is the dream.
It's Baskin's perfect Sunday. Up top, Aquarius dealing with Cyno. He'll be able to push him on out there. 10-8. Baskin has 5 of his team's 10. Just putting that one out there.
So you're saying he's 50% of the team right now?
You know, it's funny. A lot of times when players have games like this and us as commentators really like celebrate the player, sometimes the fans go like, oh, you know, biased, or he's like obsessed with this guy. Listen, my job is to unabashedly critique what's going on, and Baskin is not giving me any room to critique. He is looking fantastic, and what more is there to say than this guy's incredible. The Fire Giant goes the way of Space Station Gaming. They find themselves with a 10,000 gold lead, 23 minutes in. I need to stress that because this is very early for this type of lead right now in Season 5, and Space Station Gaming just doing the business.
Baskin gonna lead the charge now for the rest of Space Station.
Yep.
Keeping that heat passive going as well, and he's gonna get taunted out and stunned a little bit here, getting some control, but immediately popping that Aegis and the Disapparate, trying to disengage as quickly as possible.
Oh my goodness, damage from Aquarius, and by the way, Baskin gonna finish off CycloneSpin for number 6. Splyce on their back foot, their Vamana player, down for the count so far. Splyce are defending on their right-hand side. Aquarius and Jeff tanking up the tower. Here comes Baskin, ultimate on the best. Crits are good, but taunts are better. And Divios gets taunted right into the Jing knockup. Nice stuff coming out from BaRRaCCuDDa. And andinster also bringing the accuracy. 2 players chained up. And the rest is history. Phoenix on the right side goes to Space Station.
A little surprised that we don't see Andy cancel that one sooner and look for the insta-pull, but I like that he went for the style play because he knew no matter what, his team had that Phoenix and Splyce weren't going to try to challenge it.
Yeah, that play is much more about getting the objective than it is about getting the kill. As long as I can chase somebody out and walk in the other direction, we get the bird. That's all he cares about. Mid Phoenix still alive. Left side has an entire lane up. Space Station Gaming. We got a couple of minutes left on that FG. And so they're going to head over to the left-hand side and look to push up duo.
Still 2 towers remain as well, but can't imagine that Splyce will try to defend either of them. The way that this game's been going, the only thing Splyce have really been able to do is drop their ultimates defensively and run.
Yeah.
The few promising instances that have happened have just been immediately stomped on because Baskin shows up.
Yeah, and it's the one-man impact.
It's not even about just like blowing up a player's ego, because everybody knows Baskin's got ego, and there's nothing wrong with that.
He got a big ego.
Because his actions back up everything that he'd ever want to smack talk about.
Yeah, I mean, that's the worst, is when you're getting laugh spammed by arguably the best player in the world, right? Baskin right now trying to make a name for himself the way Adapting has over there in Europe. Cyno getting aggressed on, but it's Divios that's going to do the aggressing on the Space Station. BaRRaCCuDDa brought down to half HP, and andinster is going to take JeffHindla for a ride. And so that ultimate down, that's actually a really big deal for Splyce. Now, defending against the left side. I mean, with that JeffHindla ultimate down, they can dive a particular target.
AKA BaRRa. Because it's always got to be BaRRa. BaRRa's going to be able to run away on the backside. He's getting a nice peel now, but the airstrike's still going to get forced out, and Aror, no point giving chase much further, but he won't get a choice because Baskin is going to get another kill.
Just chewing through this team. Oh no, here it is. The best is going to get blown up, and it's Baskin again! Number 8! And Baskin and the squad are heading right towards the Titan. Splyce trying to play defense, and BaRRaCCuDDa gets killed. Cyno with the credit. But it's Aquarius that stops Cyno, and Divios in trouble again. Baskin still looking for him. Divios is low, gonna find his way into the fountain, and he'll survive. But the Fire Minions are here. Here comes the push onto Divios, out of the fountain, and the rest of the squad watches as Space Station Gaming claim this one in 2 games. Really short too, 26:42 on the clock.
We're not going to run an MVP poll that game, are we? Because I think we both know how Baskin is going to end up winning it.
Well, apparently chat's calling for Jeff, and I think that a lot of times the supports are kind of unloved. We mentioned earlier in the game that Jeff was behind a lot of what was keeping Baskin and BaRRa alive there with that ultimate, and Andy.
I'm going to call it a false hope. Chat's going to end up voting for Baskin because they're going to see his name pop up, and they're like, oh, that guy did great.
Well, we can speculate all we want, but it's up to you guys to let us know. Is it Baskin, is it Jeff, or is it somebody else? Definitely inform us there. And the desk going to break it down. It's Finch and Ryan interrupting Bailey.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Taco, Finch, and Ryan here. And I'll tell you, Chad, I've done my own personal investigation. Turns out Baskin is pretty good. Ryan, your thoughts?
Excellent findings, Detective Finch.
Thank you.
Or Private Eye, would you classify yourself as more of a detective?
And don't question it, by the way.
How well do you work together with our very own in-house SSA David Rossi?
Well, he's actually a lot higher than me because, as you said, he does work in the special unit. It's actually the criminal investigations. Yes. So
yeah. Okay.
He's way above my pay grade. But
well, I'm sure you guys have an excellent rapport.
Yeah, we do.
You really investigate what some would call criminal minds.
I do. I would say that that's certainly what he does, and I occasionally help out.
But
with
criminals
that, yes.
know enough to know that Baskin is super good.
They do.
They also know that Cinnamon Toast Crunch is a taste you can see.
Chat, we did ask you all who the MVP was. If we could just get that as soon as... Yeah, JeffHindla, thank you. It's going to be
Nice.
Jeff is the MVP. Maybe a
And
little
you know
bit
what? And let me get up on my soapbox here. JeffHindla deserves this MVP, and Baskin is going to get too many MVPs this year, and here is why. He is the best player in NA. I'm not going to say he isn't, but Baskin's best skill as a Smite game player is last hitting kills. I swear. Everyone will do all the damage, and Baskin will come in, somehow sneak it away. Or my personal favorite Baskin move is whenever everyone is doing damage all at the same time, and it looks like someone, who knows who's going to get the kill, and it's always Baskin. Every time. I don't know how he does it. It's his best skill as a Smite player. The man should only play Xbalanque and Kali because no matter who else is hitting the target, it's going to be Baskin who ends up securing it, without a doubt.
Baskin does a lot of damage too. I'm not gonna. I mean,
He does.
You're right, but he does a good job finding those last hits. He's also able to secure them when there's lots of chaos in the team fights as well. But we did have 2 games today, so let's go ahead and take a look at those updated standings, see where everyone is landing up, and no surprise, Spacestation up near the top. They've played one more game than CLG at this point, though, so CLG will have a chance to even that out.
And Splyce sitting down at 1-5 now, but again, I do feel like overall their level of play is better than that 1-5 record. I mean, I'm not saying they should be 5-1 by any stretch, but this is not a team that you can count out against anybody in North America.
And it's crazy when you consider just how close it is in there. Trifecta right in there with E United. I mean, it is very close over there in North America. But let's go ahead and take a look at this schedule itself. So we can look at all the matches. This was just, of course, Wednesday, where there's 2 games. Still going to be 3 sets to watch on Friday, so ton more action coming later in the week.
And I'm excited to see that E United versus CLG rematch they just played last week. E United actually looked like their old selves again and ended up with a victory there. So I'm hoping that CLG is ready and prepared, and I feel like that's going to be a great set to finish us off on Friday.
Oh, I agree with you. I want to see the E United prove that, some people, I heard just a little bit of a fluke talking like that. I don't think that's what it was at all.
They're the world champions.
Exactly. There's no way. Come on out and prove it and make them and shut them up. But not just North America. We do also have Europe to take a look at as well. So let's go ahead and pull up those European standings. One more reminder, since this is what we're going to be seeing tomorrow, that Energy are back up at the top.
And Obey Alliance continue to struggle, actually dropping to SK Gaming yesterday. So keep an eye on Obey Alliance because I feel like this week and the next week are going to be really, really important for them. Every game is important to them now. Sitting at 2-4, they've got some serious work to do if they want to try and catch up to that top 3 in Europe.
Because those top 3 are constantly trading blows back and forth. In fact, let's look at the schedule and see where we might get some interesting matchups. We are going to get to see Rival playing up against Mouse. That's another interesting match. Energy up against Mouse as well. So a lot of the top teams looking to get some matches that maybe they're supposed to win, and they got to make sure they do them.
And Mouse got off to a pretty hot start towards the beginning of this split, but have tapered off a little bit since then. And I'm excited to see what they have in store. I mean, you don't know if they're going to win necessarily, but you know they're going to play something weird. Guaranteed.
Right.
Who knows what it's going to be? Whether it's Agni support for Dardes this time around, I don't know. But I can pretty much make a safe bet that it won't be a Guardian.
No, you're not going to be seeing them playing anything anywhere near tradition over there in their roles. But those were the schedules that were coming up for those teams. We do also want to make sure we let you know y'all can support those teams very easily. If you all want to pick up one of those badges, we're certainly still got that going for you. It's the easiest, best way to support not just the teams and the orders, but the players themselves.
Gets you some extra FP as well. And, if you're a fan of playing Agni support or Robin support or one other, Naja support, Nox support, I mean, all that kind of stuff, Mouse support is the one for you.
That's right, yeah. I've got a Splyce badge myself. Which one did you pick up, Brian? Do you have 1, 2, how many?
I have them all, Finch, because I make a ton of gems per week because I'm actually paid per gems by how often I'm right, which is all the time. So I actually just have more gems than I know what to do with.
Is that why I have so few gems?
Yes,
Brian?
you are very rarely correct.
Dang it. Well, that's all right. I'll just say that JeffHindla is the best and be right more often, right? Everybody loves JeffHindla. That's easy. That'll be all my analysis.
Slam dunk.
That'll be all my analysis for now. But you're right. That's going to do it here for us with the SPL here in North America. Make sure you check back with us tomorrow. The SPL is going to be kicking off 1 p.m. Going to be for EU, so make sure you check that out.